city that deserves a lot.
Hidden beauty.
I would describe Detroit as home. I love being there. It's a welcoming place.
I would say spirit and rebuild, because there's definitely a spirit that surrounds Detroit during this time of rebuilding it.
I think it's home to like people to just help and just rebuild these people's homes and to make this one big home.
And I would describe it as the great predictor. What happens there, I think you will see happen in other cities over time. It just is a slight delay.
I think it was alive. I think that the auto industry brought a lot of young people and young families to the city, which then caused them to build up the schools and to create entertainment and to just cater to the people. And I think because the auto industry brought a lot of people, I think it brought a lot of life.
Detroit's a city, like any other, but I think that Detroit is also different than other cities because Detroit tends, in my opinion, to do things first. When you look at Detroit and its economic collapse, Detroit's economic collapse took place a while ago now. And just now, other major cities are talking about the same thing happening to them, but it's starting up now. So see some of the same negatives. You see that there are parts of the city that need money that don't get it. There are parts that, there are neighborhoods that are left just desolate. Neighborhoods that are left without people to live in them or left with too few people to live in them. And it creates avenues for social problems. Things like gangs or drugs or a lot of other the social economic problems you guys hear about the city take place in areas that are unpopulated. Take place in areas where people know they won't be watched or they won't be checked on, so they think they can do whatever they want.
Since my freshman year in high school, I've been going down on mission trips or weekend trips, kind of just day trips down to Detroit, and I've gone down to kind of help build houses throughout that too, just little fixer-uppers here and there. I also try to just kind of keep a positive attitude about Detroit because a lot of people have kind of negative thoughts towards the city, so it's really important to say, hey, like it's not what you see on TV, it's not what you hear about, like it's a great city and we're living in a great time through it.
Question, because that was the question that I really asked myself when I moved there. I wanted to know how I could make a difference for the city. My skill set tends to be working with kids, so I chose to work in the schools. I guess you can say what I do for the schools is I help kids get on track with their schoolwork. I help them prepare for the SAT. I help them apply for colleges. So I guess when I think about what I do, I'm trying to invest in the future. I want kids in Detroit now to be able to grow up with the resources they need to go to college, to come back to own a business in their neighborhood, to come back and encourage people to come after them. Because it's really about breaking a cyclical poverty cycle. One of the things that I really do encourage a lot with my kids is to think about where their passions lie. If they want to be a lawyer, if they want to be a doctor, if they want to own their own business, pursue it in a way that's meaningful to you, because what's valuable to you, you pass that value on to the next generation, so they want to do what they want, so that they want to do something that matters to them and not just a job, not just a way to make ends meet.
Get down there and see it for yourself.
I think about all the people who are negative about Detroit. They're wrong. We can just make Detroit a better place. It's still growing. It did start out pretty amazing, and now it's not in the best part, but I think Detroit can come back.
Detroit is just as good as your home, and that it shouldn't be treated meanly, and because it's like special because all the team sports are there.
I think what I would say to the naysayers is, and it may sound brash or it may sound rude, but I hope it doesn't, is that you don't have business telling Detroit what it is and what it isn't. Detroit isn't an economic model that you look at a whole bunch of numbers and you predict what's going to happen. People live in the city. People live their whole lives there. People have lived there through times when it was one of the most successful cities in the world. And now people are still living there when it's one of the least, when it's the one that's hurting the most. I think that Detroit has people that have lived there and continue to live there, and they want their city to get better. And they're working hard for the city to become a better place for the youth, for their adults, for everyone who wants to live there. And that's what you need for a city to become great again. That's what you need for a city to find its way to, to rise above its circumstances and above its economy.
You can always find an organization you like and donate. Ask around, because a ton of people are willing to go down there and help, or they know people that have. And I would just say overall, just keep a general positive attitude about Detroit. Fight back at the people who say that it's a bad place or it's just violence and stuff down there, and say nice things about Detroit.